I just, want to keep the culture alive. Bring the classics and bring the community together.
What's going on, you guys? Welcome to the very first episode of Nostalgia on the Mic, home of classic hip-hop and soulful R&B vibes. I'm your host, T, and here we honor the legends, celebrate the culture, and keep the sound alive for the next generation. Listen, we have a great show planned for you today. But before I forget, make sure you like, comment, share, follow us on all platforms, hit the subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you can be the first to catch all latest drops and exclusive content. Later on in the show, I'm so excited. We're going to be chopping it up with our special guest, B-Man. I would say let's do our culture report, but since there's no culture report today, let's do this. Since the segment is all about DJing, we want to hear from you. Shout out your favorite DJ or iconic DJ moment in hip-hop history that still gives you chills. Drop it in the comments. Next up, we're going to be taking a mini dive into the art of DJing in iconic scratch, the signature sound that helped shape hip-hop culture. Let's get into it. It all started in the Bronx, 1970s. DJ Kool Herc was the first to isolate the break, the part of the record that made people move. Grandmaster Flash came next, flipping the game with backspins and cuts. Then, WIZARD THEODORE, just a kid messing around, accidentally dragged the record back, and the scratch was born. One slip, one sound changed everything. From park jams to world tours, DJs turned turntables into instruments. DJ Jazzy Jeff, Jam Master J, they didn't just play music, they spoke through it. And that's the legacy of scratch. Pure hip-hop energy. Salute to the architects. We're just getting started. All right, you guys. On this episode, we're joined by a special guest, JUSTBMANNODJ. B-Man is a producer, DJ, and a viral content creator, known for flipping samples into iconic moments with millions of views and collabs with legends like Timbaland and Bing. He's bringing deep knowledge and serious vibes. It's time for our segment, Behind the Turntables. I'm going to have B-Man join us.
Hey,
Right,
how you doing?
good. How are you?
I'm great with that intro. I love it.
Of course. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Sure.
I'm so glad we were able to get this going.
Me too. Thank you for having me.
So I'm not going to hold you long, so we're going to get right into it.
Okay.
So I know when we were doing our overview back in March, that's not too far ago, but we were doing like the overview, and you was just giving me a little background about how you started. And if I'm not mistaken, you started at the age of 6, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So started at the age of 6. Yeah.
So you want to give us, because for those who don't know, just a little bit of background of how you started, what kind of like DJs and artists kind of influenced you coming up?
Sure. So when I was 6 years old, I was not the ordinary kid that liked to play with toys. I had a couple, but everything I wanted for Christmas was music related, whether it be a Walkman, a CD player, a boombox. Every Christmas, it was something music related. My parents kind of begged me, like, you don't want these regular toys? I'm like, nah, I want some turntables. I want some headphones. I want this. I want that. And we would have these family functions. And my cousin, George, he was my elderly cousin, not elderly, but he's a little bit older than me, a couple of years. He would always bring his component set. And a component set, if you don't know, I'm telling my age now, is like a turntable with a tape deck. It's like all these different pieces to make, to play music. He would bring this all the way down. He would bring all his records out of his house. So it would be like 12 crates of records. And he would DJ our family functions known as cookouts. So, I would be right behind him every time, like trying to figure out what he's doing. And I would see him put records on and do all this stuff. And this one time he was like, just hold it down while I go to the bathroom. He said some of that sort. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I, grabbed the mixer. I took a record out, and I knew the records. Like before he would tell me, go get me Snoop Dogg Gin and Juice. And I knew the records because of the labels. I knew like Death Row, the label on the record was red. Def Jam was either black or like a burgundy, and things of that sort. So I got, I think it was like Rob Bass, It Takes Two. and I put it on the turntable. And he had 2 copies, and I did the hit it, and I started playing the song, and it took me a couple of seconds. And after watching what he did, I just kind of put it together, and I did the hit it on the other side, and then everybody, my family, just kind of turned around like, "Who's doing it?" And they looked over, and it was me. And I was doing it on beat after a while, so they're like, "Whoa, this is crazy!" So he comes back. And my family's going crazy, they're dancing or whatever, and I told him, "Hey man, I want some turntables." And so he told me he would buy some turntables. I don't think he bought the turntables, he bought me a mixer. And a couple of Christmas afterwards, I begged my parents to buy me some turntables, and they thought it was a fad. They got me like the cheapest turntables they could find. And that was like a gift and a curse, because I started off with the worst equipment. So when I got the good equipment, I knew how I mastered the old broken down equipment. So when I got the fresh equipment, I was good. So that's how I started. And then it went from me, doing that to doing other functions, my own school dances. And, it went on from there.
So Gin and Juice, you said Gin and Juice, just definitely a classic. Speaking of hip hop classics, when it comes to iconic scratches, you have Run DMC, Peter Piper, you have Gangstar, Master Pill, even The Adventures of Grandmaster Flash on the Wheel of Steel. So for you, do you have a specific hip hop moment in hip hop history, I should say, or a hip hop track that you kind of influenced your style?
So it's kind of like 2 answers to that. Now, if you ask me scratches, I have an answer for that. And then if you ask me the influence that made me want to do hip hop all around, I got an answer for that too.
Okay.
So you want me to give you both, or just give you one?
Give me both.
All right. So the first time that I connected with hip hop, I'm 36. So I was born in '89, and my cousin, my stepfather's cousin, took me to the store, and they would just take me to buy candy, chips, whatever. So he takes me to the store, and he has a brand new cassette. They called them singles. It was wrapped in plastic, never opened it before. And I remember sitting in the passenger side in my little seatbelt, and he pops in this song called "Tonight" by DJ Quick. And when I heard it, I'm like, "What is this?" Because I had heard they sampled Betty Wright for the song. I heard that song from my mom, and then I heard it like it sounded like it was remixed. I'm like, I ain't never heard it like this before, and somebody rapping over it blew my mind. And then the second time, that I remember hearing hip hop is I would go to my biological father's house on a weekend, and my mother pulled in. He was in the garage pumping weights. It's funny to think of my dad pumping weights in the 90s. And he had on like some biker shorts. That was like the thing in the early 90s, looking crazy. It was a tank top. And he played Day One Effects. My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me. And Sometimes I Rhyme Slow, Sometimes I Rhyme Quick by Nice and Smooth. And when I heard these records, it just sent me down a rabbit hole, because most of those had samples in them. And I'm like, whatever that is, this sounds similar to what my stepfather's cousin played. I want to be a part of that. And, next thing I know, I got Totally Crossed Out by Criss Cross for Christmas. And that just changed everything for me. Now, when you talk about scratches, the first scratch that I heard is when I got my turntables. I kind of like stole some of my dad's records without him knowing. And he had the Adventures of Grandmaster Flash on the Wheels of Steel. That was the first time I heard scratches on the record. And I'm like, how is he doing this? It blew my mind. And then it was 2 other records, Back to Criss Cross, 1993. On the B side of All Right, I used to collect tapes, because singles. And on the B side of the song called All Right, they had, which was their single, they had a thing called DJ Nab's Break. And he was on there scratching. And I'm like, yo, this is Criss Cross DJ scratching. Heard that, mine went crazy. And then later on, it was Live at Union Square by not Grandmaster Flash, DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Oh, wow.
So,
That's crazy.
Long answer.
No. I was actually when I was doing like my list, because I'm still learning when it comes to scratching. So that was
Sure,
actually one DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince. Live at the Union,
sure.
that one came up as well. Let me
Hmm.
ask you,
Sure.
when it comes to performing, do you have a pre-show routine that kind of gets you going? Like, do you have a specific song or something when it comes to scratching that kind of gets you, like, I guess,
Um,
like
I
zone?
what I usually do is not a specific song. I more so listen to people that inspire me, um, because I'm always overthinking when I'm DJing, right? So when I listen to DJs and I'm like, oh my God, they played that, they played this. I usually listen to live sets. Like it'll be Jazzy Jeff, it'll be Melstar. I listen to these live recordings of them DJing, and I'm like, wow, they are really playing whatever they want. They're just making it make sense. So I'll listen to the live recordings, and then that'll get me pumped up to do what I got to do. It's like it takes the pressure off of me.
Okay, just a little, just let's see a visual. But what do you think makes scratching such an essential element of hip hop?
Scratching is an essential because it's like the seasoning salt. Anybody can get up there and play records, but playing it's how you present the record that makes you stand out. And if you add the seasoning salt to your set, which is scratching, it's definitely going to make you stand out because you kind of have to make your own rhythm and how you bring it in. It's nobody to sit there and tell you, hey, you got to play it like this. So once you start doing stuff on rhythm, you can't do too much. It's seasoning salt. So you add just a pinch, and that makes you stand out from the rest. It's your rhythm and how you think it should be brought in and things of that sort.
So the turntable is often referred to as an instrument of expression. So how
Yes.
do you feel when you're scratching? Do you consider it a form of communication or self-expression?
I definitely think it's a form of communication because a lot of people like if they just hear the record by itself, you may not get that reaction that you're looking for. But if you start scratching to a rhythm, somebody's gonna turn their head like, what is he doing over there? Like, oh, that sounds it's either gonna be really good or really bad. So most of the times it's really good and people will, bring their cameras out or, point at you and it'll draw some type of attention for sure.
When we had met, I know it took us a minute to get this together, but at
Oh
the
yeah,
time
yeah, yeah.
speaking, you had Shape 45 coming up, you had Dreamville and HBCU week. Now that
Sure.
has DJ'd all those events. So tell us a little bit, about that experience and how that was.
So I did Shade 45 about a month and a half ago, I'm guessing. That was awesome. I actually got people responding online and a lot of new followers from that. Shout out to I Destroy who let me DJ on his radio show. So that was really, really cool. That was my second time on Sirius XM, which is a big deal to me because I just thought that was so far off limits. So that was really cool. And then I did Dreamville, which was amazing. I got to speak on the panel at they had a thing called public access, which it featured Easy Mo B, Stro Elliott, Large Professor, T minus who produces for Drake, Boy Wonder who produces for Drake, Dez who engineers for J. Cole, Samples and Friends was there. It was really cool to meet all these amazing people and even to be on the panel, which is still like me, you know what I mean? So, no, it was amazing. It was amazing.
And HBCU week, how was that? I think it was the HBCU weekend. It was a week.
HBCU weekend. Let me think. Let me think. Let me think.
I know it was like a basketball tournament, I
Oh,
believe.
yeah, yeah. HBCU, the HBCU game. Yes, that was cool as well. That was at the Bojangles arena, and that was amazing. That's their first one. So it's like a basketball game. It's kind of like CIAA, but I was DJing the actual games.
Okay.
So that was really cool to be a part of something that just started. I don't think I've ever, minus Dreamville when they first started something, I was there on the first day. So that was really cool. And I shout out to them for having me, and Backspins as well.
Nice, nice. So we have the playlist retreat. I wanted to talk
Sure.
about that
Yeah.
before we get started into it. What is the playlist? Oh, what is the for those who
Okay.
don't?
So the playlist retreat is a thing that's thrown by DJ Jazzy Jeff, who is my Michael Jordan. I studied this guy in and out. So this is Michael Jordan calling. I wouldn't say Kobie because I don't consider myself Kobie, but kind of like that. You get what I'm saying? So he basically, I'd seen him a week before. Me and him built a relationship during the pandemic due to the videos I was putting up. And I seen him a week before, and he was playing me all his son's music. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. Can you send it to me? Now, if you know Jeff, he's going to send it to you. It may take a minute, but he's going to send it to you. So I think it was like the following week, he hit me with a text and was like, hey, man, what's your email again? And I'm like, it's just bmannodj@gmail.com. So, I'm thinking he's sending me his son's music, and I look in my email and it's a invite to the retreat, the playlist retreat. Now, what the retreat is, it's something that Jazzy Jeff does annually. He hasn't did it since the pandemic due to, restrictions and people being kind of scared to go, which I get it. So this was 2024 last year, and this was the first one. So I got the invite, and I'm telling my wife, I'm like, can you believe this? Like, I've been talking about this since we got together. Like, I wanted to go. Another thing that I think is so far out of reach, I'm like, I want to go, but is that ever going to happen? That's like saying, I want to get a Grammy. You can do it, but it's like, it'll take some hard work to get there. So when I got the invite, I was just, oh my God, I stayed up all night. And when I went there, what it is he flies you to his house, and it's just a bunch of creatives, not just any creatives. It's Grandmaster Flash, it's Spinderella from Salt and Pepper, it's DJ Clark Kent, it's Kenny Dope, it's Mel Starr, it's Ryan Leslie. So many great people. It's Styles P, it's Young Guru, it's David Banner. All these people stays on Jeff's estate, and it's no security. It's literally like you and I talking. You wake up, you go to the bathroom, you brush your teeth, and before you brush your teeth, you're like, oh, hey, Spinderella, like, what are you doing here? You know what I mean? You see these people every day, and it's no like, hey, I'm too busy for that right now. Everybody is networking. He has brands in his basement. You can walk through his house. He doesn't really put any restraints on his house. It's just like, what? And then he has his studio. He has a big studio. It was like a garage, and he turned it into a 2-part studio. And you go in there and make music. It's everybody collabing together, and it's nobody saying, like one night we were there, and Black Thought was like, hey, I like this beat y'all working on from the Roots. Can I jump on it? I'm like, what? Jay Farrow, and people are just popping in, and you're having drinks and conversations with these people and the brands like Pioneer, Ableton, Serato. All these people are there, so you get to talk with them and actually tell them, hey, I love this feature. I don't like this feature. This is what I would do. And they're listening to you, and you connect with these people. They give you free gear and clothing and swag bags. It's vacation. It's heaven for a creative. Like, whether you do music, content, you're going to leave there inspired. And I left there heavily inspired.
And it's for the weekend, or is it for the week?
It was from Sunday to Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
Gotcha.
So you're there and you're just kicking it. Every day it's something new. It's like you wake up, you have, meals every day, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Then they bring out snacks, midnight snacks. It's open bar. It's other things if you partake. it's just chill, and nobody is ill-mannered. Everybody has like a certain respect for Jeff. So I just it just made me look at things differently. For somebody of his status to invite me to
Mhm.
his house and have like everybody have that respect, like I'm not going to do anything crazy here. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's crazy.
So, you mentioned you were heavily inspired. What's a takeaway or takeaways, personally or professionally, that you gained from attending the retreat?
Um, I learned. I think the most important thing is I had did music, like produced music, probably a decade ago,
Mhm.
and I kind of got disappointed because I thought I was going to get a lead single on an album, and things didn't work out right with a Grammy nominated artist, and it kind of scorned me. I was like, I gotta pay bills. You know what I mean? Like I can't keep just doing music for free. I got real bills. This person's rich. So I think the thing Jeff said to all of us is, what did music do to you? You know what I mean? You got in this because you love music,
Mhm.
not necessarily because you just want to make money. What did the music do to you? The music business did something to you, but the music never did anything to you. So with that, with him saying that, and then rest in peace, Clark Kent was there. That was me and Clark Kent had built a relationship too, and we would talk all the time. And this was my first time meeting him. And he would basically be like, "Hey, B man, when you gonna start making beats, man?" And I
Nice.
remember being there. He's like, "So you made a beat yet?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm gonna work on it." He's like, "Well, if you don't make anything here, you're not gonna make anything." So I was like, "You know what? I need to make a beat. You're putting a battery in my back, and I need to get back into production because I'm so like, I got bills. I gotta do what pays the bills because this is
Right.
my full-time job." So yeah, shout out to my man Clark Kent. Rest in peace.
I was going to say that I was putting together the production, and his name came across, and I was like, man, this is legendary. Like, so,
Yeah.
and this was that the first time that you've met, or you've met before?
So here's the funny thing. We kind of met. Well, Mel Star introduced us. One day he called me on FaceTime. It's a DJ named Mel Star. He's incredible. He
Mhm.
called me on FaceTime and he's like, "Yo, this is Clark Kent." I'm like, "Whoa," you know what I mean? So he was like, "Man, Mel's been bigging you up and let's exchange info." And then he followed me on Instagram and we kept in contact. I would post content and he had my phone number and he would just call me, and so inspirational, random. He would just call me and be like, "B man, I just wanted to know you were great. Bye." Click. "B man, I hope you're working on some music. Bye." You know what I mean?
Wow.
Just random. He was just such a good dude. I mean, his thing before he passed is, "I want to get you on this Jadakiss new album that I'm working on, that nobody knows I'm working on." And he was like, I can get it to him right now. Like, it's not a problem." So he just inspired me to continue to do what it was that I'm doing. I mean, just randomly showing love and reposting my stuff. And
Wow.
I mean, he was just such a good dude, such a genuine person. And I don't take that for granted. So he definitely put a battery in my back.
Wow, that's amazing. Long live DJ Clark Kent. That's wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
How did the retreat help you connect with other artists and collaborators?
So once again, like it was, everybody was there. It wasn't, nobody, no security, no managers. So, like I think the first person I got their number and I was just like, "You're giving me your number, not your manager, not your agent," was uh Maceo from De La Soul. And he gave me his number because I was talking about shoes. I'm like, "Yo, I've been wanting a pair of De La Soul shoes for forever." And so we were talking, and he was like, "Yo, we were just talking about you." I'm like, "Me?" And he's like, "Yeah, man." He was like, "You do edits, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, you know who I am." So he's like, "Yeah, they've been talking about you. Yo, take my number." And I'm like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, "This is your agent's number? This is your manager number?" He's like, "No, it's my number." So,
Wow.
and that was the whole vibe of everybody there. It wasn't like, "Yo, take my email, take my Instagram." It's literally like, "Nah, take my number. If it's anything I can do to help you, or you want me to rap on a song for you, just hit me up. It's no in between. It's not like that. So, and that inspired me to be that way, because I'm looking at it like, yo, if they're doing this, why are we back home like, yo, take my email? You know what I mean? We can always be that person. For years, I tried to be the person. I do everything. I write it, I produce it, I make the video. Now I'm kind of like, hey, after going there, it's like the thing that Jeff taught me is, if you're not good at something, pass it along. Let somebody else do it. Let somebody else be great at the other part versus you doing a great part on this and then okay part on that part. Like, make a great overall project, but don't be afraid to collaborate with people.
Back to inspiration, for let's say for as far as avoiding common mistakes.
Sure.
You got a lot of DJs up and coming DJs. What are some beginner mistakes? Whether it's pressing too hard or using vinyl too much force, and how to avoid them.
Some rookie mistakes is probably going for the best equipment and trying to get everything that comes out because it's the best, or everybody else hops on that piece of equipment. It's not the equipment that does the job, it's you. You know what I mean? Granted, there are some like terrible pieces of equipment, but like if you get something standard and it's not the newest thing, learn that piece of equipment in and out to where you can make it talk and do what you want it to do. And people are like, I didn't know it could do that. Because a lot of people will buy things and DJ equipment and then they'll move on once something new comes out. You know what I mean? Not knowing the capability of the equipment. So I would say stick with your equipment, learn it in and out, because there are some amazing DJs that are using, like even there, I've seen DJs, I'm like, you're using that? You use that piece of equipment? And I'm like, but this is what he's making with that equipment. So, you know what I mean? It's not the equipment. It's you. Learn your equipment and master it.
So let's say for someone who's new to DJing, what are some fundamental techniques or tricks from classic hip hop that every aspiring DJ should master first?
I think the thing that you should master first is learning how to count count the measures, just like you're playing in a band. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the essential. Because if you don't know that and you don't have any type of rhythm, then it's going to be a long day for you. You know what I mean? So as long as you have some type of rhythm, you don't have to know how to dance as long as you can count. Count 1, 2, 3, 4 and break everything down into fours every song you do or every song you play, you'll be all right. So that is key. If you can't do that, maybe you may want to pick another profession.
So what about the future of DJing or scratching? Digital technology, software like Serato, is that still like a software that DJ use, or is that kind of outdated?
And no, Serato has been here since 2000, I think 3 technically. I've probably been using it since 2006, 2007. I was a late bloomer. The technology now that they have is amazing. I still use Serato. That's pretty much the industry standard, I would say. But now they got it to a point they got this thing called stems. You can take the bass out, you can take the drums out. You know what I mean? So the technology is only advancing, and I'm interested to know what they're going to do with AI in the near future. Like it's going to be even crazier.
How new scratch techniques are emerging and how DJs are pushing boundaries.
Yeah, I mean, it's so many different DJs, and the people that I admire the most. I mean, we got some amazing people here. Canada, like Scratch Bassett. It's people in Cali like Melody Babu. It's people here like Mel Star. So many great DJs that are pushing the envelope on scratching, and you know what I mean. If you listen to The Adventures of Grandmaster Flash, that's still classic, but it's evolved so much since then, and it's just interesting to see how far. Like to me, it's like I can't think of any other scratch to do. Like you guys are killing it. So it's only going to get better. But I'm still in a point like I'm like, what else y'all gonna do?
What about scratching in popular music? How scratching continues to influence hip hop, electronic, pop music, etc.
Listen, hip hop scratches are in everything. You know what I mean? Like I was listening to some pop record. I think it was like a Britney Spears record the other day, and it had scratches in it. I'm like, wow.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Everything is influenced by hip hop scratches. So I think that's never going to go away because people are so fascinated. It's an art form to be able to scratch and scratch good. So it's just going to continue, and it's only going to get better.
That's a wrap. I appreciate you for coming in. Like I said earlier, just behind the turntables, it was an honor just you taking time and chat with me. But before we go, do you have any events, projects, anything you want to shout out? Also, your social media where the people can find you.
Yeah. So I have a Patreon. A lot of people with the edits thing, www.patreon.com/justbman no DJ. Instagram at justbman no DJ. Facebook at justbman no DJ. Twitter at justbman no DJ. Threads at justbman no DJ. Mixcloud at justbman no DJ. Everything at justbman no DJ. And thank you for having me and taking your precious time to talk to me. So it means a lot.
And we definitely going to do another segment that we were speaking of. I'm not going to share it, but it's coming up definitely. Yeah. So B-Man will definitely be back on the show.
Yep.
So you guys stay tuned. Make sure you follow Nostalgia on the Mic on all platforms. Subscribe to the channel. Look out for this episode to drop. Until next time, Nostalgia on the Mic.